Wellness Adventurous. Welcome back to another episode of the Wellness Inspired Podcast, a place where you can find inspiration, motivation, and empowerment in the pursuit of a wellness lifestyle. I'm your host, Sherry Davidson. I'm a wellness coach, acupuncturist, trail runner, and former interior designer in Houston, Texas. And I am deeply passionate about health and well-being. And as always, I'm here with my co-host, Finn. And if you're new to the podcast, Finn is my terrier mix rescue dog, trail runner, and loyal companion. He is also a therapy dog and greeter at Element 5 Acupuncture and Wellness. And I want to start this episode with a little honesty. I used to think of travel as an escape, something fun, exciting, and totally outside the everyday. But over the years, something shifted. The more I traveled with intention, the more I realized the right kind of travel isn't about running away from your life. It's about getting closer to yourself, your rhythms, your well-being. It's not an escape. It's a reset. And as I get ready to host my very first wellness river cruise in Europe this spring, we leave next week actually, I have been thinking a lot about what wellness travel really offers us and why it is so much more than just a luxury or splurge. So in today's episode, we're diving into the idea of the reset, why we need it, what it really looks like, and how to carry the experience with us long after we return home. But before we get started, I have to do this one last time. For all those avid listeners who have turned in the podcast over the last year, you've likely caught wind of the Wellness River Cruise. Well, friends, the moment has arrived. Mark your calendars for April the 20th, 2025, as we set sail on an unforgettable 7-night cruise along the Danube River. We'll traverse through picturesque landscapes of Austria, Germany, Hungary, and Slovakia. Prepare for many active sightseeing adventures, including invigorating hikes, scenic bike rides, and even a few brisk runs, maybe. Alongside these activities, indulge in the serenity of yoga sessions, engage in enlightening wellness discussions, and savor the flavors of locally sourced cuisine. Excitement is already brewing as several enthusiasts have secured their spot. For those intrigued, I'll put the link in the show notes. In episodes 63 and 64, A Journey of Wellness and Wonder on the Danube with AMA Waterways, I had the pleasure of having Laurie, a representative from AMA Waterways, and Tami, a seasoned travel concierge, on the podcast to discuss the full river cruise experience. So feel free to check out those episodes for more information if you like. This all has to happen quickly. The cruise is around the corner. If you're interested, put your deposit down quickly. It's not a lot to hold your spot. And there it is, folks. That is the last time you will hear that piece. You might hear another one, but the Wellness River Cruise is coming to an end. Okay, well, let's jump in. Why we need the reset. Modern life doesn't exactly roll out the carpet for rest. We're always on, responding to emails, keeping up with schedules, checking boxes on our never-ending to-do list. Believe me, I know about those never-ending to-do lists. I have a to-do list for the year. I have a to-do list for the month, for the week, and for the day. And boy, is it satisfying to just check one of those boxes off. So yes, I know about the never-ending to-do list. And even our wellness routines, things meant to support us, can start to feel a little rigid, like just one more thing we have to get right. The green smoothie, the meditation app, and the perfect morning routine. But sometimes the most powerful way to reset isn't by adding more, it's by stepping away. When you physically remove yourself from the patterns and pace of your everyday life, something starts to shift. Your nervous system finally gets a chance to soften. Your breath slows down. You feel your body in a way that's easy to forget in the day-to-day. That space, that pause, it's what allows your system to recalibrate. And that's the kind of rest I'm talking about. I know every time I travel, and I know it will happen when I leave next week for Europe, every time I travel, it takes me a good day or two just to drop to a slower pace. I just want to go, 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 go. And then after about a day, I start to slow things down. And then I begin to realize how on I was and how much I really needed the reset. Okay, now let's talk about slowing down and what that actually looks like. Because I know for some of us, especially those who thrive on structure and productivity, that can feel uncomfortable. But slowing down isn't laziness, it's a skill. And in today's world, it is also kind of radical. What I love about travel, especially wellness-centered travel, is that it naturally creates opportunities to slow down. You wake up without an alarm clock. You walk more. You linger over meals. You notice your surroundings instead of pushing past them. You may move your body on one day, on a hike, a run, a walk through a new city, and then completely rest the next. You realize that movement and rest aren't opposites, they're partners. And when we're not squeezing ourselves into the usual schedule, we start to remember what our natural rhythms feel like. And that's the gift. In early March, I was at Miraval, Austin. They have 3. I think there's one in Arizona, Hawaii, and Austin. But it's a resort, and they have something called Miraval Mode. It is basically digital detox. Unplug, be present, and reconnect with your best self and nature. And this definitely made me slow down and look around as well as connect with other people. Now, I'm not super addicted to my phone. I can't say I don't use it at all. It's because it is in my hand. I do feel a little naked whenever I leave my phone at home, like I did the other day. But I don't have a problem putting my phone down. And it's just a good reminder that I'm okay without it. Life will go on. And it doesn't have to be glued to my hand and in my face all the time. So yeah, good reminder and good practice. Okay, so you go on this great wellness trip. So how does this translate after the trip? You do all these wonderful things. You go through digital detox. You walk through nature. You reconnect with yourself. You meet others. You do all these great activities like yoga and hiking. And actually did a hills and drills class, which was super fun in Austin. But your trip comes to an end. The time has come to go home. How does your experience translate after the trip? Because here's the part that gets me every time, because it's something I've noticed in myself and in so many others. The real shift happens after the trip ends. You come back with insights, with clarity, with a nervous system that's not constantly buzzing. But re-entry, it's a thing. The inbox is full. The schedule picks up. The energy of go, go, go returns fast. And here's the truth. If we're not intentional, those beautiful takeaways from our time away, they start to fade. Integration, the process of carrying the trip's lessons into daily life, is where the long-term change lives. Sometimes that looks like making small tweaks to your routine. Sometimes it's protecting 1 or 2 habits that you loved on the trip and giving them a place in your week. And sometimes it means having a little extra support. I have found that the most lasting impact happens when there is space for continued reflection. When you can stay curious, explore what's sticking, and gently course correct without pressure. That might look like journaling, conversations with people who get it, or simply slowing down enough to ask yourself, what do I want to carry forward from this experience? For some, I'm going to give myself a plug here. It's also where wellness coaching comes in, not as a fix, but as a gentle, ongoing integration. And if you happen to be someone who leads retreats or hosts wellness experiences, building a container for that post-trip reflection can be one of the most meaningful gifts you can offer your guests. Because wellness travel changes you, but it's the integration that sustains you. And that's where it really takes root. So I'm going to wrap it up here with some closing thoughts. Whether you are heading off on a wellness retreat or simply taking a long walk in your neighborhood park, remember this. Slowing down isn't something you have to earn. It's a radical act of care, of presence, of trust. And sometimes what you need isn't more doing, it's more noticing. So if you're feeling stretched thin or sensing that something needs to shift, maybe the answer isn't pushing harder. Maybe it's creating space for rest, reflection, and whatever comes next. If this episode stirred something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Share it with a friend or take a moment to reflect on your favorite way to reset. And hey, if you're someone who creates wellness experiences, let's keep the conversation going. There is so much potential in what happens after the trip. I'll be back after the Wellness River Cruise. I'm sure I will have so much to share with you. Maybe I'll even see you on the river. Who knows? Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep moving forward toward a healthier, more adventurous life. Thanks for tuning in to the Wellness Inspired Podcast, and I will see you next time. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. You can also give me a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps others find me as well. To get updates on new episodes and wellness inspiration in your inbox, please join the Wellness Inspired community. Go to thewellnessinspiredpodcast.com to sign up. I'll put the link to the website in the show notes so you can click and join. Also, there's a Facebook community at The Wellness Inspired, and you can follow me on Instagram at wellness_inspired. If you're in the Houston area or just visiting and interested in our services, acupuncture, herbal medicine, cupping, zen shiatsu, or dry needling therapy, contact us. You can find out more on our website at element5om.com. That's element5om.com. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes. If you're interested in health and wellness coaching, we can connect in the clinic or on Zoom. Reach out to us and we'll get you on the schedule. And as always, I would love to hear your feedback. I am dedicated to bringing you great content that is inspiring and informative with an artsy, fun, edgy spin. Thank you so much for listening. We'll meet here again next time. And remember, never stop exploring, learning, loving, and being you. Bye.